GoPro, start recording. Hey friends, welcome to a beautiful, no cloud in the sky, get away you, day here in Washington State. We have come to Billy Frank Jr. Nisqually Wildlife Preserve, and we're gonna go walk on the boardwalk and see some animals. I just bought a new camera. What you're seeing now is footage from the GoPro Hero MAX, which is like one of those GoPro action cameras, but it's actually a 360-degree camera that can also shoot in this handy hero mode. And it has a screen so you can see what you're doing. It has apparently a really good microphone setup, and I'm curious to see whether it is actually any good as a vlogging camera. I shoot on a Canon G7X compact camera, and this one shoots pretty much the same level of quality as that, so I'll be interested to see side by side and see if the video and audio is comparable, because this would really save me a lot of carrying two cameras around. Gonna do?
He's a fat squirrel.
He is a fat squirrel. I would be fat too if I just spent all day eating blackberries.
Yeah.
One of the big perks of the Hero Max is because it's 360, even when it's recording in standard GoPro mode, it has stabilization, so it's like you're walking around with a gimbal everywhere, so all the movement is really smooth. And even like if I flip it around, even upside down, the picture should stay relatively level, which is great. You don't have to carry a huge gimbal around anymore to record super smooth shots. Even when I run, I could do this all day. This would be a good test to see if you can still hear us when it's really loud outside. People mowing the lawns and Chinooks flying around. Having owned and used a couple of 360 cameras already, I often find one of the hardest things is that the lenses really stick out of most 360 cameras. By their very design, they have to be able to capture like the full 360 degrees of vision, so they tend to get dinged up and scratched and smudged really easily. GoPro actually, as well as sending two little lens caps to keep the lenses protected as they stick out of the camera, they also sent a couple of domes, clear plastic domes you can fit over the lens, which I'm interested to know if it changes the image quality, because not only do the caps they send seem really fiddly to have to constantly put on and take off again, the little domes, I feel like you might get some kind of lens flare from a certain way with sunlight shining directly into them. So I'm going to do a test right now. This is the GoPro Hero Max recording in 360 degrees without the lens protector dome things on. So just looking around, we'll try and get some sun directly on the camera, and we'll see whether or not you can tell any difference in quality between this and having the plastic lens protectors on. So pop this one on, peel off the protective plastic, and then we'll pop this one on the other side. That's pretty foolproof. Should probably make sure to clean both the GoPro lens and these covers with some kind of isopropyl alcohol before you put it on, but we don't have any out here. Well, it feels loose, but it's not going to come off, and it adds a little bit of weight to the sides, but not too bad. Okay, and this is how it looks with the protective lens bubble things on. We'll take a look around and see if we can see any kind of lens flaring. There's probably going to be a little bit. I can see a bit of fluff on this side actually. Let me blow that off. The problem is with stuff so close to the lens, it's always going to cause like little, I can even see some on the screen here, the handy screen. There's some little tiny kind of refractions or reflections from the sun bouncing around inside this ball, and any dust that's on there too. But I think it's probably worth it in order to protect your lenses and keep your investment for as long as possible. Pretty big trees. Pretty big trees. Chunky trunks.
Did you just come up with that?
No, that was my nickname in college. So still walking with the protective lens cover cap things on. I wonder if you can see any difference in the quality. Big selling point of this camera for me was that it's waterproof. Now, I don't tend to do a lot of underwater activities, but with my other 360 cameras, shooting a lot of theme park content, I would often have to take the waterproof case when I would go on water rides, like when we went to Splash Mountain. You'll be able to see that the quality inside the case was just not as clear, because the cases, being plastic, always tend to get a little more scuffed and scratched and retain fingerprints than the lenses would. And also the audio quality is massively impacted, so being able to take this to the beach or on water rides without having to give a second thought to whether it was going to get splashed, especially in terms of the audio quality it can record, is a real boon. As I found with my other 360 cameras, these things are crazy when you put them on a selfie stick. So you can film yourself just walking, and it's as if you have a third-person camera in like Grand Theft Auto game or something. It's really interesting to see the quality of the video and audio with this camera, because I really like that you can shoot selfie mode or straightforward, choosing one of the lenses, or you can shoot in full 360. Hello, miss. Stop filming me. I feel very threatened right now.
I'm not filming you.
My mask on. One of the great things about this camera is the voice control ability. So I can say, GoPro, start recording, and it's recording. It's pretty useful. We're wondering if the audio quality is going to be the same from this GoPro camera to something like my Canon G7X. So this is the audio you would hear with the Canon G7X. Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a little lamb.
And this is the audio you'd hear with the GoPro MAX, with apparently 360 degree audio, whatever that is.
2003, what do you think's in there?
As with previous GoPro cameras, it lets you record in a few different fields of view. So this is the narrowest one they do. Then there's this linear one, which is equivalent to a 19mm lens, which is what I tend to shoot in. Otherwise, every video looks very kind of GoPro-y. If you need to get more in, they have this wide angle, which is equivalent to a 16mm lens, which You know, it's starting to look a little bit fisheye around the horizon. And in fact, there's one even more wide mode if you want it, which is an incredibly wide 13mm equivalent, which they call Max Super View. Good for getting all your extreme sports tricks in the shot. Not that I do any of that. Well, I hope when I edit this footage together it makes sense, and that the GoPro Hero Max seems like a sensible purchase. This is actually my third 360 camera. If you've watched a lot of my videos over the past couple of years, you'll have undoubtedly seen some of my 360 footage, especially on roller coasters, which people really seem to like, so I'm gonna try and do more of it. So I've had a little time with the GoPro Max, and here's why I think it's a good vlogging camera. It's waterproof, which is always really great to have one less thing to worry about with cameras. The stabilization is amazing, and it makes watching my content hopefully a lot less nausea-inducing than some of these close-up shaky cam people. The touchscreen controls are really intuitive, make it really easy to select whatever functions you want. The wide-angle field of view is really great for being able to easily show people everything that I'm experiencing. And it's also great to not have to worry about whether or not you're in focus, which I know a lot of people artistically like a blurry background when they're vlogging, but I'd rather just everything be visible in my video. The surprise feature I wasn't expecting to like is the voice control. Just being able to speak what you want it to do is super helpful, especially when it's mounted places that maybe you don't want to have to fiddle with buttons and stuff. So what are some of the downsides? Well, it's kind of annoying that the 360 files aren't natively editable yet in programs like Adobe Premiere. With my other cameras, I could just drop the proprietary 360 format files into Premiere and it would edit them straight away. But with the GoPro files, it's not yet supported. Even with the plugin, you have to transcode everything in the GoPro app first. So that's one extra step that is kind of annoying. Other than that, the Hero footage looks pretty good, but it seems like it's a little fuzzy compared to some slightly better optics, especially when most people are now shooting in even higher resolutions than 1080. It kind of is not the greatest quality image ever, and that goes doubly for handling exposure. Quite a lot of my footage on sunny days like this, I get a big white forehead that is kind of difficult to edit around, whereas if this shot, for example, in HDR, things might look a little bit better, protecting the highlights and shadows, but you can't have it all. The audio is honestly a lot better than I was expecting it to be. It kind of suffers when you're further away and not directly talking to the camera, but when it's right in front of you, like it usually is if you're vlogging, then it's definitely passable for a vlogging camera. Other than that, some of the kind of medium, not good or bads that you would expect from a camera like this, it seems very hardy, just like every camera GoPro makes. You don't have to worry as much about it getting scratched or dented. It's small, it's compact, it's light. You just throw it in a bag and not really think about it. The battery life is pretty good for what it is, and spare batteries are reasonably cheap. I just bought a triple charger with 2 extra batteries for about $30 US, so that's pretty good. So all in all, when I bought this, I wasn't really sure whether I would keep it or not. I think I'm going to keep it, and I think I'm going to use it to make little vlog type videos more often if I can. Did you get a GoPro Max? Feel free to let me know in the comments and let me know whether you agree that it's passable as a vlogging camera. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I'll have more content hopefully coming soon. 2020 is not panning out like any of us thought it would, but regardless, we have some plans for possibly some traveling in the near future, so stay tuned and subscribe for more fun. Hopefully we can save 2020 together. Thanks for watching. GoPro, stop recording.